Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's Danny Elliott. So today we're going to talk about a record number of American CEOs are quitting, according to this report. And ongoing economic and disruptive technological challenges are some of the main reasons why leaders are opting to quit. And now this has been a trend, obviously, since the Great Resignation, since, the crisis, because in 2023, 1,914 CEOs quit. But then in 2024, 2,221 CEOs quit. Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, they are the experts and they know what's really going on. So they say the environment of economic, political, and regulatory uncertainty that prevailed in 2024. Wait a minute here. I thought that 2024 was the strongest, most resilient economy we have ever seen in our lifetimes, guys. Economic and regulatory uncertainty that prevailed in 2024? What? With that as a backdrop, we also saw rapid technological advancement and boards that were laser focused on efficiency and productivity. If CEOs were perceived to be lacking, they were not tolerated. As my mom would say, they are sorely lacking. Sorely lacking, yes. But just think about if you're a CEO, right, and you're making tens of millions a year, do you really need to hang around that long? Like if you're making 20 million, 50 million, I mean, you stay around 2 years, you made $100 million bucks. You could take that 100 million and put it into an investment that cash flows, but you don't really need to actually produce any results as a CEO, especially in the United States. Because in the United States, CEOs are basically like they're in bed with the government, these different business organizations, and everybody like knows everybody else. Like, I mean, what happened with Taco Bell, right? The CEO leaves Taco Bell, he goes to Starbucks, and then he says, all right, I'm going to cut these two people. I'm going to fire, this guy and that gal. And then what does he do? It's a nationwide search. And who does he come up with? He comes up with two guys who he used to work with at Taco Bell. It's this incestuous, country club of these business guys. They all bring each other in. It's just like Congress, They know that they're going to give a subsidy to a corporation, right? The lobbyists are going to get rich, obviously. The members of Congress buy the stock, they issue the subsidy, and then their portfolio goes up 260%. It's an amazing thing how this happened. This is all about, maximizing their own return on investment. That is the CEOs. And I think a lot of companies are starting to figure out, the shareholders and the investors are figuring out that we're paying these guys all this money and we're getting zero value in return. And we actually had a CEO that was replaced by AI, completely replaced. So that just goes to show you that all these millions that American corporations are flushing down the toilet to pay these CEOs so that they can retire with these golden parachutes and then go on to become fabulously successful investors with all of those profits they received from their 1 year of dismal failure. It could be replaced completely by AI, completely replaced. And a lot of people are concerned about this. A lot of people in government. By the way, 493 executives leaving their post in government and nonprofit. And we covered the nonprofit money train freeze in a previous video. I'll put that one up on the screen so you guys can go watch it. But almost 500 people left government, to take their golden parachute. So, maybe it's time to get out. Maybe it's time we bring in some people that actually produce results at American corporations. Who knows, guys? Stranger things have happened in the United States, but companies are cutting costs across the board, said Christmas, as well as pivoting to new procedures, operations, and in some cases, products in light of new technologies. It's an ideal time for new leaders to ascend. In other words, it's a great time for, the productive people, but actually carry the weight in the corporation, who actually get the work done. They're going to probably get a better job now. So this might be a good thing. The appointment of interim leaders was found to have almost doubled in 2024 compared with the previous year. The CEOs of several big name brands exited their companies. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun, who was in charge of Boeing when the doors blew off the 737-9 MAX in January of 2024, triggering safety concerns. He was out. Pat Gelsinger was out at Intel. John Donahoe out at Nike. Pro-business policies, reduced regulations, decreased inflation, and lower borrowing costs. Yes, because Trump is demanding that the Fed cut the rates, right? Because now Trump is now the Fed whisperer. He's going to tell Powell when he wants rate cuts. So we've done so well for so long, issuing our useless U.S. currency and getting all these goods in exchange. We've had such a great run of the rest of the world living in a lower standard of living than the United States, just to make things better for Americans, basically. That, we're going to have that come to an end now, and that's going to be great for the country. Okay. And a January 7th report from JP Morgan found that almost 2/3 of middle market executives in a survey were optimistic about the U.S. economy this year. And that said it was, quote, an extraordinary shift in business sentiment. Almost 3/4 of leaders expect revenues to increase in the coming year. 65% project higher profits. A little over half planning to expand the workforce. And even as 77% of businesses report rising costs. And we mentioned rising costs in the beginning, the CEO being the most expensive line item in your labor budget. So, I think that companies are just looking to chop some people. And it makes sense to get rid of CEOs who provide no value for the company. So maybe that's what's going on. And it's good for the CEO, like I said earlier, because they only have to stay around for 12 months, 24 months, and they've raked in enough cash to put all that money into investments, and they can live off those investments for the rest of their lives. So, as I said, it's a good club to be in. And if you can angle your way to a CEO position and just hang around there for 12 months, a lot of times you don't have to go to work. Like they give you an office there. You never go there. You make everyone else return to the office, but you don't. You work remote. It's good to see that companies are starting to figure out that they're not getting any value for their money with these CEOs. But, again, it's not much consolation because they spent a lot of money and they'll never be able to get it back. And meanwhile, you have, the Starbucks baristas making like $30,000 a year. Occasionally someone will leave a $1 tip. Their inbox gets filled up with flowery emails about all these new, wonderful changes that they're going to make in the operation to enhance the experience and make things so much better for both the partners and the clients of the coffee house, right? I love how they call people partners, but they're paid $30,000 a year. It's just really strange. But that's America today. That's corporate culture, and CEOs are starting to check out. But we'll have to see what happens, right, guys? But I appreciate you watching the show today. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Danny Elliott.